You know, before we start, I'm gonna have to tell you a story. You know, sometimes, some time ago, there was a person who thought, you know what, why don't we add some sugar to the bread so we can get, and bake it in the oven a bit longer so we can get this like nice tasting thing called a biscuit. So then, you know, the biscuit evolves and, you know, the guys from Oreo come around and say, why don't we take it to another level and then add another layer of something awesomeness between the two biscuits? You know, and people are like, yes, come on. Now there's Oreo everything, Oreo ice creams, Oreo things. But then people are not happy. We are not satisfied. We want something more. So here comes the last evolution of cookies. This here. This is an Oreo coated in white chocolate. Oh, that is so good. Oh my word, that is absolutely delicious. I had my birthday yesterday. Sorry, I had my birthday recently. I got 6 boxes of these. They're all gone. That was 2 weeks ago. Woo! If you want to get some of these, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Click on those affiliate links. Get some Oreos for yourself. Feel better. That is good.
3 hours later.
So you wonder what we're talking about in this video. It's not about biscuits. It's about a monitor. This one over here is Andycine A6 Plus. But previously, my favorite one has been this one. One of my favorite monitors that I've used over these years making these YouTube videos is this Andycine 4K, which is A6, Andycine A6 monitor. And it's been absolutely awesome, but there has been a few fallbacks or kind of things that I was missing that I really wanted. One of the things was LUT support, but now with this new monitor, if you can spare another $60 or so, you won't believe what this monitor can do. Oh. Shall we just make like ASMR of this video, me eating biscuit? Okay, that's enough, Lauri. That's enough. So let me start with the conclusion of this review. So you kind of know where I'm standing before I even make this video, before I even start talking about these things. What do I think? What's the conclusion? Come on, tell me. So basically, I think this is the best budget monitor that you can buy for your money. And I'm going to talk into the things that I don't like that much, and maybe, you know, you agree with me. And the things that I like, I'm going to go more in detail in a moment. But I think for what you pay for your money, the build quality, the usability, oh my word, we're going to talk about that, and what you get in the box, everything considered, I don't think you can get a better deal. Let me start with the things that I like about the monitor, okay? So one of the first things that I like about this monitor is the viewing angles of the monitor and just the resolution. I've used this on weddings and commercial shoots, things like that, and I've used usually a f1.4 lens, and I've had no problem nailing the focus on f1.4 wide open on this monitor, which is amazing. It's so much faster. It makes my workflow so much faster when I don't have to press like the zoom in on the monitor, camera back monitor, and I can just be so much faster. I can see straight away when it moves out of focus. I can see where my focus is. I love it. Second of all, one of the main things why I like this monitor is the usability. It is so easy to use. I don't know, they've really figured out a way how some of the things just have made so much easier. Okay, so here is the previous model, okay? But 3 main bad things that I didn't like about this was that this is not a touchscreen. Oh, this is, by the way, the new one is touchscreen. It wasn't a touchscreen, so if I wanted to change any of the settings, I'm gonna have to dig into the menu, and there was 2 separate buttons on here. So the left and right, if I wanted to go on the menu, are on the right side of the monitor. It was always confusing. It took me ages to adjust the monitor brightness, for example. So that I didn't like. The other thing was the battery mount on the back. Every single time I took the battery out, I squeezed my finger between this end over here and the battery. So absolutely nipped my finger so many times. It's a completely different thing. I'm gonna show you in a moment what the battery mount can do. And then another thing was this swivel arm. One of the things was that once you've locked it, it kind of doesn't move properly, and even if you open it a little bit and then you move it, it tightens itself while you've moved it. So I didn't like that much, so this needed some kind of engineering done over here, which this mount over here is completely different, okay? Then another thing, when you have this screw on the bottom over here that tightens it onto the cold shoe or hot shoe mount on the camera, it was too small, didn't stick out much from the actual arm. So now with the new one over here, this mount over here is so much better. So first of all, this kind of washer or tightening mechanism thing, the round circle thing that tightens it onto the camera hot shoe mount is much wider, so it's much easier to kind of grip it with your fingers. The other thing is this tightening mechanism on the side. So you kind of screw it in and tighten it, but now there is some kind of like a washer or some kind of a clutch disc in between, so I can literally just move the monitor up and down, and it doesn't tighten itself. It really works. It's awesome. And I like that there's another cold shoe mount over here. So if I want to, for example, put my Rode Wireless Go in here, I can put it over here because I've already used my camera mount. So these are the improvements from the previous ones. Let me talk quickly about some of the usabilities of the actual firmware. It's amazing. Okay, look at this. So first of all, it is a touchscreen, like I mentioned before. So if you double tap the screen, it's going to bring out a menu on the side over here. So then when you swipe up from the bottom, you've got these like assist quick shortcuts, how you can put different assist features on. Focus assist, turn it on, boom. Focus assist is on, false color, it's that easy, okay? Now, if you want to change these shortcuts, all you have to do is double tap on one of these, and boom, you can change whatever you want it to be. And there's a lot of features inside, okay? If you're wondering what type of assist features there are inside, I'm gonna leave them all on the screen in here instead of just talking through all of these, save you some time. So you can see on the screen how many different ones there are. I don't feel like there is anything that kind of lacks or that I'm still needing. I think everything is included, all the different assist features of a monitor that you would want, they're included on this one. Also, the screen is kind of divided in half, okay? So if you swipe up or down on the right side, as you can see, the volume of the headphones is over here. So if you've got headphones plugged in on the bottom over here, if your camera doesn't have a headphone jack, it's also good to have this one. Then you can adjust the volume up and down on the right screen by just swiping up and down. So easy, so fast. And one of the good things that I also noticed is that this audio is not out of sync of the live. So sometimes I had headphones on, but I could hear that what's coming from my headphones with the previous model is not exactly the same, or it's not live what I'm actually hearing from the actual interviewer or whoever I was doing the sound with. Not with this one, it is in sync. On the left side, you can adjust the screen brightness. And this is an absolute game changer. I don't know why no one's ever thought about this before. Maybe they have, maybe I haven't seen their products. But, so if you're in the dark environment, all you do is swipe down. If you want to save battery, if you're not using it, just swipe down. That's how easy it is. You don't want to turn it on and off. It's just swipe it down, boom, brightness into 1, okay? And if you want the brightness up, swipe up, 100%. So many times when I'm doing a wedding or a corporate shoot, you're going from like bright environment to a dark environment, bright environment to a dark environment. And then it's really hard to gauge the exposure if your screen is either really bright or really dark. So to be able to adjust it that fast, I don't know. Biscuit for you, Andycine, well done. On the top of the monitor, also there are 2 buttons, as you can see over here. There are the turn on button, which if you hold on, it turns on. But also if you single press it, it turns off the touch feature. So if you're in an environment where you don't want to accidentally change your brightness or your volume, just press it once, boom, you can see touch off. So this doesn't do anything. Double tapping, nothing works. Very useful. On the other side, there's a scroll button, which also works as backlight over here, as you can see. If you want to scroll it down, you can change it to volume or backlight on the settings inside. And if you press it down, it's also like a button, okay? So you can go quickly into the assist features, or if you're in the menu, you can scroll up and down with that button over there. Another quick feature that I absolutely love is the pinch to zoom, okay? So if you're in the touch feature, okay, let me turn it to 100%, and you're trying to nail your focus, all you do is pinch in, check your focus, okay, that's it, pinch out again, boom. That's how fast it is, and I absolutely love this feature. So many times I've used this, it works so great. Even if you pinch in, you can move it around like that. It's so easy to use. That is so good. So one of the main things that was missing on the previous model was the LUT support. So if you were shooting log or any flatter profiles, I couldn't load on a LUT to see the final look already, which is very helpful. I like it a lot anyways, because I can nail my kind of exposure much better if I'm already seeing the grade that has been applied to the footage. So what you can do on this one is that there is a SD card slot on the bottom over there. If you have an SD card, pop it in there and then put on the LUTs from the computer. They will have to be .cube files, and then you can actually see them previewed on the monitor. So one of the cool thing is that the monitor already has some of the LUTs built in. So if you double tap on the screen, go onto the menu, and then on the fourth one down there, we can see LUT support SD card. Okay, that means that this is already, my SD card is in there. On top of that, there is LUT switch, and the LUT switch over here is basically some of the already LUTs that have been like inside the monitor, preloaded, which is really awesome. So if you turn it on, there's LUT for S-Log 3, Canon log, V-Log, S-Log 2, some of the main things. So this is really helpful to kind of have already built in the monitor. One of the last things I'd like to mention is the battery mount on the back over here. So if I'm going to turn the monitor around over here, you can see that there is now like a locking mechanism for the actual battery. So the battery is locked in there and it doesn't come out unless you press this button, which is awesome. But that is not all. The monitor also has a dual battery mount. So basically how this works is, one side is the Sony F style batteries, and then the other way is the Canon E6 style batteries. So if you've got one of those DSLR cameras, this battery that's inside there, I can actually power the monitor with the same battery. So one way is Canon, one way is Sony. This is just amazing. And to quickly go some of the I/O of the monitor, there is HDMI in and out on the left side of the monitor, or right side, depending which way you're looking at it. And then the DC output, which is 8 volts. So basically, if you have a dummy battery that you can purchase separately, I'm going to leave a link for this in the description as well. If you want to do that, if you can power your camera through this monitor. So if you've got one of those bigger Sony F-style batteries slotted in there, and you can power your battery camera as well. Underneath there is an SD card slot, there is a DC in, 12 volts, another 1/4-inch screw hole with the locking mechanism, and then we have another 1/4-inch screw hole on this side, and then on the top there is another 1/4-inch screw hole plus the turn on button and the menu scroll wheel button. Another cool thing is that it comes with quite a lot of accessories, so let me try to get them over here. Be aware that the packages might be different in some of the things, so just check the listing. I'm going to try to find the exact listings I got and then link them below in the description. So if you want to get exactly what I got, then the link is in the description. I got this HDMI to micro HDMI cable, which is this small cable. Really helpful, always use this. So this is for the Sonys. Then it came with already a DC power adapter, which is awesome. So if you're using it in a studio environment or maybe more sit down or longer sessions, you can easily plug it into the wall and you don't have to worry about the battery. It also comes with this shade, monitor shade. So you can easily apply the monitor shade onto the monitor. Boom, you get a better view angles and there's not a reflective screen in your face. Another thing that it comes with is this little bag, which is very cute, you know, so that you can carry it around like a little first aid kit. And it also comes with this monitor arm. But if you want to have a smaller footprint of the monitor on your camera and just a smaller kind of run and gun setting of this monitor for your camera, then what I'm using is this little Andycine vloggers mount. Now this thing is is so good. I'm gonna leave this in the description as well. I've got a video, I'm gonna link it up there that is all about this, but basically this is just this small thing that comes between here, and you're gonna have all this extra kind of aside, and it's just much smaller than this kind of thing. So I like this very much. It's small. If you want to pick it up, the link is in the description as well. And last thing, what I like about this is the price. I don't think it's very expensive, and I think it's gonna try to hit this Atmos Ninja 5 and small HD focus type of area. I know that the Ninja 5 can also record inside and, you know, do some fancy things, but this is much cheaper. This is around $230, which is awesome price for something like that. If you're like a wedding videographer or just like a run and gun shooter or something like that, that you just want a bit of a bigger picture and you want the focus to be nailed perfectly and just faster, and you know what, to look a little bit more professional as well, this is an awesome product. Okay, so now let's also talk about some of the sides that I don't like that much, and I think maybe Andycine can improve. I checked just before making this video if there is a firmware update, which there isn't. I've got the latest firmware, and a lot of the things that I'm talking about, I hope Andycine watches the video and then actually improves this over the firmware update. So one of the first downsides that maybe I don't like about this as much as I liked on the previous one is that the false color, how it works on the previous one, is much better as in here. So when I turn on the false color, as you can see on the bottom there are the values, okay? So this red one over here is where it's supposed to be clipping, but the thing is it doesn't actually ever show red when it's clipping. As you can see, this should already be clipping on over there, which it actually is. If you look at this, it's completely clipped. There is no information over here on the false color. It does not show the clipping over here, which is just a firmware update kind of thing. They need to fix that on the firmware update. As well as I would like to see numeric values next to the colors over here. So on the previous one, what I really liked is when I'm doing like an interview, I could easily get a perfect exposure. By how I'm getting like a perfect exposure is when the highlights of the person's face on one side kind of get around or go around 80 or 70% or something like that. But over here, I don't know which value of these is the numbers. So I'd love to see some numbers attached to the bottom over here, which would help me get a perfect exposure. Next thing that I think maybe can be improved a little bit is how fast it pulls the information from the camera, which I didn't find it on the previous one. It's not a big thing, but do you know what? It's worth mentioning. So when I'm gonna press menu over here, and then look how long it takes for it to pull up the menu. Boom. If I go off the menu, there's some kind of like a lag. The same thing when you're turning on the camera, the monitor takes time to pull the information from there. I don't know why that is, but just so you know. Maybe another downside is that if you are using this on the GH5 and mostly shooting 4K 60, then unfortunately this monitor does not support 4K 60. It supports all the resolutions up to 4K 30 FPS. Now, to keep continuing being picky a little bit about this is I wish there was a little storage on the actual monitor, so I wouldn't have to leave my SD card built in, because it sticks out a little bit and I'm just, you know, a little bit worried about it. It's not a big thing because you can get these SD cards for like, I don't know, just a few dollars. Get like a 2 GB, 3 GB one, and then you get as much lots in there as possible. So that's not a big thing. You can get these very cheap, but it would be awesome if it was built in as well. But I understand why they haven't, because it just keeps the cost down. Lastly, this is like a little maybe thing for Andycine, and this is nothing to do with this, but if you've got already this Andycine Vloggers mount, what I wish it had those two little sticks that would stick out from the side of this mounting plate, which means that when I'm gonna screw it on over there, so it would lock in. So it would only use the actual joint to turn left and right, not go loose from the screw, as you can see over here. So just the kind of mechanics or the engineering of this, I wish there was an update for this little thing as well. So it would have two little sticks over here that would kind of slot into these holes, and it wouldn't move around as much. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about this monitor, and I truly, even though with the bad sides and things that kind of you know, maybe annoy me a little bit, I'm still thinking this is the best choice you can get for your money. It's 5.5 inch full HD. There's plenty of crispiness and plenty of resolution and pixels per inch on this to actually make your shooting much easier, to nail the focus and to look more professional. It's just amazing. It's very slim design. It kind of ticks all the boxes you would need for a budget one, and it only costs $230. It's amazing. Now Black Friday is coming up, depends when you're watching this video, so always look out for deals. I'm gonna leave the links in the description for you to check it out. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any other questions, leave a comment below. I'm gonna meet you in the comment section below. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Adios. We're gonna talk about that. Ooh, I'm gonna have to cut that out. I feel really burpy after this tea and biscuits. I must have drank it too fast. Oh wow. Absolute genius. Whoever did this, well done to you. I wish this episode was sponsored by Oreo, but it isn't. Oh my word, best thing that's happened to biscuits. With a nice British cup of tea, oh, nothing beats it. Oh, I'm gonna have another one. That's good. This is by far my favorite biscuits in the world. Oreo, if you're watching this, maybe we can work out a deal. Sponsor an episode. I'll show some cookies in my episode. I'll eat some cookies in my episode. Affiliate links are in the description. I'm gonna have to look through a lot of footage of me eating biscuits. I'm a tea guy. Coffee? Sorry guys. I wish I liked it. I just don't. Another biscuit before we go into the main story. Oh.